Alright, so I thought I would do a movie review for a movie called 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. Now that we are going to get a 28 years later, I believe. And also, a lot of people have been having a trouble or a hard time finding 28 Days Later on Blu ray or on 4K on any type of streaming service right now because Disney currently holds the film rights to 28 weeks later, and in 2022 they lost the rights to 28 days later. So that's why it's hard to find a streaming service. And when it comes to physical media, that made this DVD combo right here jumped to around $100. So right now, if you're looking for the double pack of 28 days and 28 weeks later, it's going to cost you around $100 plus shipping. If they do charge you for shipping and handling and all that stuff. Also, right now, if you wanted to get just 28 Days Later by itself on Blu-ray, by itself, the single pack, it's going to cost you around $60, maybe $80, depending on who's selling it. But I do have them both right here, and I've had them for a while, and I wanted to review it while I'm showing gameplay of The Last of Us for the zombie special effects. So that is the first start off about this review right here, is that, the rights have been lost. They got to fight it again. The third movie has been greenlit with Cillian Murphy, the guy from Oppenheimer, the main actor, the guy who played Scarecrow in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. So with that being said, let's get on to the review. So we're going to start off with 28 Days Later. If you watch this movie, you are going to get some vibes of The Walking Dead when Rick wakes up in a hospital in a gown. He doesn't know where he's at. Next to know, he starts getting chased, and he's in a wide open, he's in the open world. So far, there's no zombies. Everything looks abandoned, and then shit gets crazy. Zombies come running, and the zombies look pretty damn crazy. Now, one more other thing about 28 Days Later is that the video quality is kind of terrible. The reason is, I did some studying, is that it was used with a $5,000 camera in 2002 that could only record at 480p. That's right, not even 720, 480p. So it's a 480p movie upscaled to 1080p, and there is some spots where it is just freaking bad. Specifically, the opening when the monkey is starting to attack people from this rage virus, because that's the whole problem. That's the whole start of this movie, is that there's a virus contaminated with people, but it was actually monkeys that were infected with something called the rage virus, which made them want to attack people. That its bodily biohazard fluids could affect people with saliva, and its bodily liquids. So its saliva gets into your system, you're gonna turn into a zombie. If it gets into your eyes, your mouth, stuff like that, you turn into a zombie. And basically, PETA, the animal rights group, they tried to free these monkeys, and then they got attacked, and they turned into zombies, started attacking people. They got out, started affecting the world, and then 28 days later, the movie starts. Pretty simple, right? And it takes place in Europe. And a lot of the reason why I think that this movie is starting to get attention is because during COVID, you see the pictures of empty streets everywhere. There is empty streets all over the place when COVID hit. You can look at the footage, the photos, and people were saying it looked like 28 days later. Oh, look at these memes, 28 days later in 2019. Wow. Buzz started building up. People started looking at the movie. People started watching it again. Producers got mental notes. They saw how good The Last of Us is doing, so they decided to make a greenlit part 3. So that's going to be my review for, should I say, part 1. Start coming. It's a lot like The Walking Dead. So if you like The Walking Dead, the beginning, you want some nostalgic vibes, then watch this for the first time. Or if you just want to watch it again, definitely watch the 28 Days Later, because it's one of the best zombies movies to come out. And also, once you hear the soundtrack of these movies, they will immediately come to your head. Like when you see Dawn of the Dead, Zack Snyder's Get Down with the Sickness. That's a memorable song, the instrumental. But there's also instrumental soundtracks when you listen to these two movies, and they'll get stuck in your head. So definitely look at the soundtrack for 28 Days Later. Now, 28 Weeks Later is about 28 weeks later after the incident. The movie starts off hold on, no. Bro, okay. Back 28 has one of the most unneeded, unnecessary deaths for one of a badass characters. There's this guy who is protecting his daughter. He sees that these two people, the main character and the main side character, male and female, they're lost. They have trouble running away from zombies. The fatherly guy takes them in because they're a protective person. He's protecting his daughter. He lets him into the group. Next you know, the man, one of the guys, this father figure, looks at this crow. Then he starts trying to like agitate the crow by throwing something at it. I believe like he was getting pissed off at this crow because he was pissed off himself. And then the crow flies away, and then a little bit of drop from this dead body the crow is eating goes into his eye, and then he starts like telling his daughter, "I love you. Get away from me. Get away!" And then he starts getting rageful, and he tries to attack his own friends. And I was like, oh, that's like that moment is classic zombie moment movie history right there. Almost as good as any George Romero moment is that moment when that fatherly figure person got turned into a freaking zombie. My bad, I got tongue tied. So 28 weeks later, it opens up with some sad shit. Basically, this family is eating. A little boy comes in saying, "I need help, I need help." They let the little boy in. Next thing you know, the zombies were following this little boy. House starts getting run in by zombies. This man and his wife are in this bedroom trying to run away. Zombies break into the door. The man could either save his girlfriend, maybe, or he could just get out the window and dip and run away. He chooses to run away while the wife and that little boy they just saved, what looks like they're getting attacked, and the movie starts ending. Or at least not ending, but the first part ends, and then you go to the title sequence and stuff like that. So you see this guy leave his family to survive, and that's just the start of 28 weeks later. Fast forward, now they're in a environment where there's like a little small gathering of people. There is a military presence. They have a fast food, not fast food, but they have a foods place where they get food. They could just live and shit. So crazy stuff happens. Is that woman from the beginning? She ends up being found. Then they have her contaminated, and then that wife's husband finds her that left her in the beginning. Then he goes to kiss his wife that he left behind because he felt sorry for her. She's half contaminated and half not. So this woman had the antibodies to fight the virus while having the virus in her. And the guy's making out with his wife. He turns into a zombie. And then the guy starts freaking out. He was smart enough to leave the little compound he was in. Started attacking guards. Started attacking people. People started turning. And then, oh shit, we are at red alert. And it has Jeremy Renner. And it has Idris Elba in this movie. And some other, and more people in it. Forgive me for not mentioning their names. But there's a cool cast in here. And so there's this moment where the military is on top of buildings with snipers aiming down at civilians, and they're being told from walkie-talkies to only shoot the infected. And it is my favorite moment from the sequel, and it's where you are a military official officer trying to save the people, killing the infected, trying to save them from attacking people, while at the same time trying not to shoot innocent civilians. And that scene where they're trying to see who to pick, and the sound is kicking, the soundtrack's kicking, the vibe is just getting picked up. You're like, oh shit, like who do you know who to shoot? How can you tell who's infected, who's not? And then after a while, they get the confirmation of all confirmations. Hey, fuck it, just shoot them all. And then that's when Jeremy Renner and his crew, they look at each other with snipers, and then they just start pa 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 pa. They start shooting basically everybody, right? And so that moment was just so freaking cool to see, because I like that crazy shit. It was like a fish in a barrel type moment. And then they have another scene where all these people are crammed into a small storage like container, and then one infected gets into that little small storage container full of people. Then they start getting bitten. Then they start biting each other within a small storage area. And then it's like the club scene in Blade. When Blade comes in, starts killing everybody, It was like that, but with no Blade, just zombies, 100 people packed in a tight ass room. Like shit, like the moment of COVID acting up, it feels like this is so fast because like within 10, 15 seconds of this virus, this movie virus, you get infected. And another thing too that some people pointed out is that right after all the infected stuff started happening, they started seeing chemtrails in part one and chemtrails in part two. So there's like a little conspiracy saying that when chemtrails go through our sky and our fields, it's because they are putting stuff in the air to keep us from becoming this. You know what I mean? Like the antivirus is already spread in the chemtrails. The antivirus for the rage virus is already in the air. The antivirus for this is already in the chemtrails. And it feeds into that theory of conspiracy theorists when it comes to what can they show in movies that happens in real life that they can't talk about, but they have to show it in a movie. And one of the cases is 28 Days Later. That's why I knew they had to be a 28 years later. Or they could have been 28 months, 28 minutes. Who effing knows if they make a show. So that's me my review of 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. It's a very rare movie as of now. So if you have the DVD for this or the Blu-ray, know that you have a collectible. Okay? So that's gonna be my review. Thank you for the team who created these two movies, and thank you for the production team that decided to greenlit the part 3 28 years later. I'm definitely looking forward to this movie. For I myself am 28 years old, so I would like to enjoy this movie with the number 28 in it. So peace out, and I recommend you try to watch these movies in any type of way. Legally, I guess. All right, so yeah, 28 days later, 28 weeks later, 28 years later. See ya.
Once again, I would like to say thank you for watching.